My friend John McCrae, also known as What Do You Meme, did a video recently breaking down of why Pearly Things is seemingly rejecting Christianity over this. Let's jump into it. This is fascinating. Now, if you guys don't know, this is Pearly Things. She's been in a lot of hot water lately from every measurable facet. All right. And really kind of began when she kind of sat down with Hafiz. I would say that was the beginning of the end. All right, for her, but she's resilient. Okay, so let's see what she was talking about.
Didn't that Solomon guy have like 1 million wives? And I know Jesus, I think, condemned that. Or there was the one guy that married like the old woman and then had like Cain and Abel, I think, whatever.
That old guy that married and had Cain and Abel was Adam. Adam is in.
Yo.
And Adam and Eve. All right, so there's a popular YouTuber that goes by Pearly Things who's been popping up a lot lately, most notably after her interview with Andrew Tate. With about 1.5 million subscribers, she's probably the most known female in the Red Pill community that tries to expose the truth about men and women dynamics in relationships, but she definitely caters to men.
Yo, shout out to What Do You Meme? He does such a great job of these videos and just compressing all the information you guys need to know about who just Pearly Things is. Which, by the way, me and Pearly Things have been in communication. I really would love to sit down with Pearly Things. I don't know if she's willing to make that happen. Surprisingly enough, she reached out to me about possibly doing something and having a discussion on some of those things. So hopefully this happens. Okay, so shout out to her. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to work in What Do You Meme into this conversation as well, in case she may not be familiar with him. But nevertheless, let's keep going.
He wants to go to the bar with his buddies because you make that shit a hellhole. Because you are so unpleasant to be around.
So a recent video of hers popped up in my feed that was discussing her problems with religion and Christianity. So I watched the video, and her criticisms of religion are, I'll just have to show you. So let's go ahead and start the clip.
Today, I pissed off the religious people. Now, before I start, I want to give a background on my stance on religion.
Hold on. What religious people? Is this because you saw my video? I'm so fascinated about this. What religious people? Because I did a video. Which video that I recently did a video on Pearly? Oh, about the Abba and Preach thing. Okay, I reacted to Abba and Preach reacting to her on Faith, and maybe that's what she's talking about. I don't know.
Okay. Now, I grew up Catholic. I did 12 years of Catholic school. And I think...
To summarize her intro, she basically says that she was raised Catholic and went to Catholic school for 12 years, and then she started going to a Christian church, but she stopped going to that church ever since she moved to England for her podcast, since the podcasts are recorded on Saturday nights and she has a hard time getting up on Sunday mornings. So,
by the way, I don't think going to Catholic school for 12 years or however many years makes anyone an authority on anything. Just because you went to Catholic school doesn't mean you paid attention, doesn't mean you know what Christians, Protestants, Catholics believe. You just went to Catholic school.
After she explains that, she starts getting into her complaints about religious people. Take a listen.
Most of my life, I did go to church, but the last couple years, some things in the religion just kind of off-put me, and I couldn't figure out what.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out like what was off-putting to me.
Tell us,
I was
Pearl.
watching this YouTube video and there was a pastor on there, okay? And there was this pastor and he was talking about how he's like, and they come off so weird. Like he's like, I would never work with someone that cheats on his wife. I don't surround myself with people like that. I don't think cheating is good. But I think a lot of times we demonize men who cheat as if they're so evil and awful. And we don't talk about how even Christian women have social media, which is attention seeking. Even if you're not like posting like thirst traps and whatever, like it's a bit hypocritical of the women to say, oh, cheating is the worst thing ever when they have open Instagram accounts. And we could say, well, what if her butt's not on it? Well, her face is still on it.
She can't be serious, right? All right, guys. Pearly, listen to me, Pearly. Can we please talk? I don't know if she's talking about my conversation with the lead attorney. I'm not sure what she's talking about. She called me some pastor. I don't know if this is about me. But for the sake of this point, let me show you guys my wife's Instagram. Can I show you guys my wife's Instagram? And don't be a weirdo and go follow my wife. But for the sake of this, I'll show you guys my wife's Instagram, which is probably private, and she's probably not going to respond to any of you guys. But let me do this. Okay, so this idea that like Instagram is attention seeking. Okay, my wife. If you guys want to get a vibe from my wife, you guys can go watch some of our early vlogs from way back in the day. You guys get an idea. She's not in the public space like this, but let me show you guys what my wife's Instagram looks like. All right. There's my wife's Instagram. Okay, this is her Mother's Day post. I took the picture. This is a Valentine's Day post. This is her at a worship concert. This is us on, I don't know what this day is. This was Father's Day. All right. So we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts in the last year. 5 posts in the last year. All right. There's a family photo. So this notion, thank you. My wife she is pretty. Thank you, guys. You guys are so gracious. This is family. This is us at Big Bear, right? My babies. Does this come off attention seeking? Does this come off like a woman that keeps Instagram open so she can get attention from men? So this notion that just because a girl has an Instagram that is let me pull this back. So let's listen to this in context of my wife's Instagram, which, by the way, if I'm going to be honest with you, I know a lot more women like my wife than I do the girls that end up on Fresh and Fit and Pearly Things Pod. Maybe that's selection biased. Okay? But in my case, I know substantially way more women like my wife and her Instagram than the type of women that go on Pearly Things' platform, that go on to these Manosphere Red Pill platforms. So let's pull this back and let's see if that's because maybe I misheard her.
It's a bit hypocritical of the women to say, oh, cheating is the worst thing ever when they have open Instagram accounts. And we could say, well, what if her butt's not on it? Well, her face is still on it.
So this, Pearly, is the same as a girl with her butt on it. This is the same thing.
That's goofy.
Wait, what?
And, that's still in a way attention seek, And again, this isn't to put them down, but it's more to show the hypocrisy, right?
All right, let's pause right there. So her argument seems to be that it's hypocritical for, I guess, religious people to say that they won't work for men who cheat, but are at the same time okay with women who are seeking attention by posting their faces on Instagram.
That is the biggest false equivalency I've ever heard in my life. I'm so glad I'm reacting to this video. I have a feeling she might be talking about me, but maybe I'm wrong.
And she clarified, she's not referring to thirst traps or them posting their bodies. Instead, she's talking about just their faces. All right, so now this doesn't sound like a very clear argument to me. So it's possible that she's leaving out things by mistake, but just going off of what she said.
This man's so charitable.
My first thought is that it's not hypocritical because attention seeking isn't the same thing as cheating. It's possible to seek attention from people who you aren't sexually attracted to for a number of reasons. For example, straight men might want to seek attention from other men for social reasons or job opportunities or whatever. So
it's literally the entire point of the red pill. Get your muscles, your gains, your game, your money right. Why? So you can impress other dudes. And Sneeko so eloquently pointed this out recently. That is by proxy attention seeking.
The point is, just posting your face on social media isn't always about seeking attention or sexual attention from the opposite sex. Although some Christians do act like hypocrites sometimes, I don't see how this is one of those times.
My issue was when he was saying, it's like we act like the men that cheat are so horrible and it can't happen.
They are.
We don't act like the women.
They're scumbags.
Who have open Instagrams. And I'll see it on Twitter.
No, Pearly. Cheating on your spouse, especially when there's a family involved, is like throwing a grenade in your freaking home. It is not the same. It is not the same as a woman who's married simply having an Instagram where she occasionally shows her face. I know that's like a beta thing to say for me. Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here. These are false equivalencies on her part. These are not the same. A man cheating on his wife, which men cheat at higher rates than women, probably another point of the red pill you leave out, is not the same as a woman having an Instagram account where she might show a pretty face and some shoulders occasionally. They're not the same. They are not the same thing, sis. They're not the same. A man cheating on his wife is literally going to cause hurt on him, his kids, the stability of his home, how his kids grow up and see him, how his wife continues to see him. They are not the same. So yes, as I pointed out in my video, responding to Abba and Preach, responding to you, yes, committing adultery, top 5 sins in my book. Okay, definitely top 10 in the commandments. Okay, it's literally destroying lives and homes and families.
Like the trad wives. And again, I'm not even trying to demonize them because I also have social media. But it's like they'll
The irony, right? But you also have, never mind.
Say, oh, the men are so horrible for cheating. But I'm like, Diane, you don't have to have your face on social media.
She doesn't. They don't.
You could take off your face and still tweet comments.
Sure. And some women do that. And a lot of women got their accounts locked down.
You don't have to have your face at all on it. Like, there's people that build followings with no face.
It makes it sound as if the only possible reason why someone would show their face online was to attract the opposite sex, which obviously is not the case. I mean, is seeking sexual attention from men the only reason why Pearl posts herself online? If not, it proves her argument wrong.
Hello.
And if so, then that's just weird.
Hello.
Honestly, I find this argument so bizarre that it makes me wonder if I'm missing her point or something. Am I missing something? If so, just
Listen, Pearly's a good content creator when she has speaking points and she has her little things that she goes. She is not a good live streamer. Like, coming off the cuff like this is not a good idea. You when you get on your red pill things or like your shorts about abortion, like I think those were great. I actually reacted to one of her shorts on abortion. I put it on Twitter. I gave her props. Best argument, right? But this is not that. Like, this is a half-baked, unthought out idea that's almost as bad as like Rollo's get a vasectomy take.
let me know down in the comments. Anyways, let's keep it moving.
But this pastor was saying that cheating is like the worst thing ever. I don't surround with men that cheat. Men that cheat like have horrible morals. And I'm thinking, okay.
They do.
All right. This pastor got married in his 30s. All right. So he'll say things like, I'm a one-woman man.
Yep.
Okay. But he got married at 32.
Okay. So she's not talking about me. Respect. Because I thought she was talking about my lead attorney thing. My bad. I got married at 23.
Guy one got married. Let's say he got married at 18. But let's say in his 40-year marriage, he stepped out twice. Now, the man that got married at 32, let's say he's still, you know, a quote-unquote one-woman type of man. Mm-hmm. Before he got married, he slept with one girl a year from the time he was 18.
Why would you assume that? The average man has 6 sexual partners according to the according to the CDC. Why would you assume that? People who practice their faith and go to church regularly tend to have less partners. If you're talking about a 32-year-old pastor or a pastor got married at 32, where do you pull these numbers from?
These are the women he's been involved with. These are the women cheaters been involved with. And you could argue that the cheater probably has to be more careful, and it's less women, because he's going home to his wife every night. And so you see, like, it's like, so these guys will come in and act like they're on this, like, moral high ground, when really they're kind of the same, just in a different way. And in a way, the cheater probably contributed to less degeneracy than he did.
Okay.
Yo, but this is all on the presupposition that the dude that got married, the pastor that got married at 32, was bagging a different chick every year. How do you come to those? Where do you pull these numbers from? She got to be trolling. Pearly, you got to be trolling, sis.
Okay, first, cheating in a marriage is a big deal because it leads to the destruction of families.
Hello.
Which Pearl has even said before that she thinks is a bad thing, the destruction of families. Yep. Cheating is actually one of the top 2, if not the #1 cause for divorce and breaking up of families. So she should care about its effects. We'll come back to that.
And by the way, men cheat at higher rates than women do, pretty much in every single end of the demographics, especially as they get older. So the talking point from the red pill community is like, women file for 60 or 70% of the divorces are filed by women. Yeah, and then you leave out that men cheat more. I mean, I don't know, that seems a bit disingenuous to me. You know, if we're going to talk about who's filing for these divorces, are we at least going to acknowledge that men cheat more than women do?
Point about Christians acting holier than thou, but when it comes to the criticisms that she has for the pastor, here she seems to me to be completely missing the point of what the pastor might have been saying. Let's say that Pearl is right and this man has had 14 or more partners before he got married. Well, based off of what she said about the pastor, it sounds like he's just referring to his current state of being a one-woman man and probably wouldn't want to work with his older self either. But the issue seems to be more about trustworthiness and commitment than past sexual partners. When the pastor says that he doesn't want to work with men that cheat on their wives, he probably meant that he didn't want to work with them for the simple fact that if they aren't remorseful for what they've done, these are men who broke their most important promise to the person that's closest to them. He's just saying that he doesn't want to put a lot of trust and responsibility into someone who would willfully deceive their spouse without remorse or regret. But we're not done, because next she brings in the Bible in support of her arguments.
No.
But didn't that Solomon guy have like 1 million wives? And I know Jesus, I think, condemned that. Or there was the one guy that married like the old woman and then had like Cain and Abel, I think. Whatever.
That old guy that married and had Cain and Abel was Adam. Adam is in Adam and Eve.
Now, I grew up Catholic. I did 12 years of Catholic school.
5 minutes later.
Old woman, and then had like Cain and Abel.
Oh, no.
Whatever. But
No.
I know, and Jesus like did say that was wrong, I think. So I'm sorry for butchering it. The religious people get so heated that it's tough to be
Yeah, because you don't know what you're
one part
talking
wrong,
about.
you're like,
Pearly.
I'm sorry. I just
Stop. Just
All right,
stop.
So here, she actually does
Okay, listen. The reason why we get triggered, like there's certain things, you notice certain things I don't talk about. You notice like I don't talk about like the Lakers schedule and like if they beat the Golden State Warriors in the Western semi-conference finals. You notice I don't talk about that kind of stuff? And if I did, and I just started saying, well, you know, the Lakers are about to beat the Clippers, and then they're going to go face the Boston Celtics in the NBA. If I did that, you know what would happen? The NBA fans would get irritated at me for talking about stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. And they would be rightfully so annoyed at me having a half-baked take about something I don't know anything about. They're playing the Nuggets. Exactly. They just beat Golden State Warriors. They're not going to play the Clippers. I would sound like an idiot, which is why I don't talk about crap I don't know anything about. Why is it unreasonable for you as a content creator to hold the same standards to yourself? Why is that unreasonable? And then when you go in and start talking about stuff you're not an expert in, of course we're going to be like, Pearly, stop it. Pearly, stop it. You don't know what you're talking about. This is why I don't have a sports podcast. This is why I don't speak on sports in general. Very loosely. Will I ever mention an athlete? Gosh, man.
Make a fair point. Christians and religious people often do get worked up to the point where non-believers sometimes are afraid to say anything in fear of getting a heated response that shuts down conversation.
Sure.
That's something that I think that we could all collectively work on when it comes to those who are genuinely seeking and asking questions.
But Jesus didn't come in and say, I won't do business with you. I won't work for you through you. Like, even though Solomon had all the concubines and stuff, he still was a great man and did a bunch of good. So to say, I can't surround myself with these immoral men when men do have a predisposition to do that type of stuff.
Okay, so first of all, are we going to acknowledge how Solomon's life ended? You got to read the end of the story, Pearly things. Yes, he had thousands and thousands, whatever. But you got to know how the story ends.
All right, so when she refers to the pastor talking about working with people that cheat, I think it depends on the nature of the action and also the nature of the job. I mean, I'm sure that Pearl wouldn't hire a convicted thief and money launderer to be in charge of her finances. So in a similar way, this pastor is probably just saying that he doesn't want someone working at his church that would willfully deceive and cheat on their spouse without regret and remorse and is even proud of it. Having high morals, especially when it comes to religion, is a good thing. Think how many times religious people get attacked for not being immoral enough. I mean, that's kind of what Pearl's complaint is, since she's considering this guy to be hypocritical.
Now, that's not saying it's okay. Please stop taking my words out of context. But it's more, my argument is I think we need to humanize people.
All right, so here, I actually do agree with her on this point. We shouldn't be dehumanizing people.
So yes. And maybe we need to humanize the people who are confused women being pulled in very different directions from radical feminism that's telling women they could have it all, the career, the education, the family, and the body and the income, right? And they're getting pulled in that direction, yet they know that they want to have kids at some point. Maybe we should humanize people and understand that we live in an era that's unlike anything before, and people are pulled in a bunch of different directions, including the women you dunk on, Pearly things. Including the women you dunk on and assume some of these false ideologies that you regurgitate when you speak about this red pill stuff, like from the Rational Male, which if what we'll look at later is Destiny brilliantly debunking a lot of the nonsense Rollo puts out there, as I did when I was with him.
Either. Go ahead.
Shout out to my guy, What Do You Meme? And as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, me and What Do You Meme will be in Vegas together July 26th. You guys should pull up for that. Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.